can see some similarities.
Yeah. Well,
The law of one.
Let me hit this on the background first. Spinoza, in his past, he's brought up a Jew. He didn't think that God didn't exist. He just thought that the way we define it was not correct.
That is
And then
correct.
to take it further, people really didn't like it. That is correct. And to take it further, Spinoza vehemently felt that the historical record within the Bible was completely fraudulent and inaccurate. And that got him into a world of fucking hurt with everybody.
Yes.
So like, this guy is a heretic.
Yes.
How dare he challenge the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. Baby Jesus, Lord and Savior said shit happened at X time. That must be it. So throughout the course of it, he had to continue his work. It was hard for him to get into specific social circles, especially philosophical ones. So he reclused himself into his own private works and continued to publish those throughout his life without the support of universities or others, because they just knew they wouldn't jive with what he was saying. Because universities, they're their own religion anyway.
Oh, big time. Especially
They're cults.
today.
They're fucking cults.
Yeah.
So, and if any universities want to tee up with me on that, let's go all day. I'll break it down for you. I'd be happy to do that.
Well, they got started off that way. Universities started off as theological centers.
Look at Oxford.
Yeah, all of them. I think
Yeah.
Harvard, Yale was all theology.
Yeah.
That's how it all started.
Christ Church.
Yeah, and then you had the puritanical teaching. That don't get started there.
Don't even get me going, man.
So let's get into the human spirit.
Yeah.
He viewed it as a perpetual seeker, yearning for meaning, purpose, and happiness. And we all want to live a fulfilling life. And so here's Spinoza's philosophy, kind of in a nutshell. He had 3 key tenets:
Okay.
reason, common sense, and practicality.
Okay, first of all, those are all great things.
Yeah.
I could be friends with this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
To reason something says I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna observe it, and I'm gonna understand it as it is. I'm gonna find the pieces of wisdom within it, and I'm gonna reason to how it works, how it flows, how it interacts with things. I'm gonna sit there and mentally digest. Great thing to do. What's his second tenet?
The second one was common sense.
Common sense. Don't be an idiot about shit. Is it dangerous? Don't do it.
Yeah.
Does it feel wrong? Don't pursue it. When you eat it, does it make you feel sick? Avoid it.
It's that
Common
simple.
sense.
And then practicality. And he uses practicality kind of more as like, not minimalism, but not being attached to materialistic things.
Yeah, be practical. I was born into this world. I'm going to use me. Alexander was born into this world. Do I need anything else? The human body produced another human body, which is this fleshy tool vehicle that I'm in, going around doing things. It can operate on its own. I don't need clothing.
No.
I don't honestly need shelter 24/7. You just need these temporary things. They're temporary. They're fleeting. So the practicality is I have everything that I need to evolve.
Yeah, and he emphasized, and this was another big one, he emphasized living in harmony with nature.
Okay, great.
Imagine that.
Well, first of all, if you have the tenets of common sense, reason, and practicality, you're always going to land back on nature teaching you these things.
Yes.
And you can't live outside of the thing that gives you life, right? Otherwise, your life wouldn't exist. That would be unreasonable.
Isn't it funny how we try to separate ourselves from that?
All the time.
Yeah, separating ourselves from nature, separating ourselves from any form of unity. We want to separate ourselves.
Just shut it right down. There's nothing wrong with us as human beings measuring things. There's nothing wrong with us categorizing things. It helps us understand. But as a whole, in the most macro sense, you must remember that it's completely unified. It's a one principle.
It's a one. Yeah.
You separate it categorically for measurement to help you understand.
Yes. Yeah.
But at its core,
It's one.
it's all one.
That's what the law of one is. It's a law.
It's called the law of one.
Yeah. That's not. There's nothing. There's nothing in and above that's greater than the law of one.
Yeah.
It's at the top of the sphere, if you want to call it.
So I'm a human being. You're a human being. You're one thing, right? I am one thing. Now, us here together, we are creating one thing. There's a hyper oneness of you and I putting this show together over.
We're doing 1 + 1 = 1.
1 + 1 = 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With the oneness.
Yeah, it's just, even if you divide something out into its constituent parts, they're still parts of the whole. But they're also their own independent things, which are still one.
Do you feel like, because this is something Spinoza in his masterpiece Ethics talked about, and he talked about happiness is not the reward for virtue, but virtue itself.
Happiness is not the reward for virtue, but virtue itself.
And I think when I think of the word virtue, and I think what he's referencing is to everybody's being hedonistic.
I see. Yep.
You know, to the point of it's like I'm going to be hedonistic and do what thou wilt. You know, Aleister Crowley was that. You know, for thou art the extent of the law, which there's some practicality, there's some understanding in that. And I want to do a whole show on Aleister Crowley.
Okay,
because there's as above, so below type of stuff. You know, and that's balance. But virtue in and of itself, when we look at that word, there's so much religious dogma tied to it.
Yes.
Virtue to me, another word would be like pureness. Like unity and purity is a virtue. Like, you know, showing love to someone is virtuous.
Okay.
Not happiness.
Okay, but you had to
Happiness is different.
But you had to recognize that you wanted to go show that thing.
Yeah.
You have to define those virtues for yourself. Now, say for instance, Alexander had no virtues. What am I left with? Tons of material things around me to amass.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen this in life. Material things don't bring you happiness. This shit's temporary. True happiness comes from the virtue. It's the point of where you want to be and what you find value in. You have to establish your personal value system first to even understand what happiness is, which means you have to do an internal searching rather than an external one, being hedonistic, finding all these other material things. You know, the basal animalistic instincts, having those fulfilled is not what you're looking for. They're higher values.
Yes, and that's what he talks about, prioritizing the essential needs that bring out the best.